What's up, guys? Today we're going to be covering how to lane on ADC. Hopefully will be useful for all ranks from Iron to Challenger. Now, this video is mostly geared towards the Emerald Diamond Master level, but I'll be sure to point out the things that you should probably be working on when you're lower elo, like when you're bronze, silver, gold level kind of areas. But right off the bat, I want to talk about if you are maybe, let's say, like platinum and above, you want to start thinking about your matchup. Okay, so if you're lower level, I just want you to think about the champion you're playing. Let's say you're silver, you're gold, you're playing, you're trying to do champion mastery. Let's think about how your champion wants to do damage. What does that mean? So let's say, for example, I'm playing Senna. I'm going to use a basic trade pattern of Q auto attack. Every time I want to Q, I should be looking to try to proc my passive. Okay, higher up level you go. Let's say we're in the gold range. Okay, let's start playing with our support. We want to be playing around what Soraka is good at. We know that we can trade really well in Senna with our Q auto attack. Okay, what can Soraka do? Soraka does really well at trading with her Q into healing you, right? So you can take small trades and then can rely on Soraka to heal you. Okay, and then for the much higher levels, let's say we are playing in we're masters level player. You need to start thinking about before we skip to masters, let's do like emerald diamond level. Okay, you need to start thinking about wave management. How do you guys want to play against their bot lane? What are they good at? Right, let's examine this Surfing, for example. Is Surfing good at? She's good at pushing, poking, catching with her E, right? Poking with the double Q, and then catching with her double slow into root, right? So then, okay, let's think about wave management now. What do you want to do with the wave? Knowing this information, usually speaking, you want to put the wave in a spot that nullifies the enemy support's ability to play the game. So again, Seraphine, she wants to push and poke, which means we want to push her in, which makes it impossible for her to push and poke, generally speaking, right? And if you're playing against like a Leona that wants to all in, then maybe you would want to pull the wave near your tower, so it's hard for her to all in into your tower, right? And then let's go to a higher level. We're playing in Masters. You need to start thinking about junglers, okay? Is your jungle able to gank early, and is their jungle able to gank early? Fiddle probably just wants to rush level 6, and then he plays off his ult. And Silas can definitely gank early after first clear, probably 330 coming if he's pathing bot, right? And then GM higher, of course, not limited to Masters GM higher. You want to be thinking about where the wave, which direction your jungle is pathing. Okay, I mean, obviously, if you are low elo, you can also think about this stuff too, right? Okay, is my jungle pathing bot? Is their jungle pathing top? And also mids, okay? So what's going on with mid lane? Is my mid laner going to get pushed in or not? Can my Veigar roam? Definitely not, right? Is Akshan going to roam? Definitely yes. Probably post 6, maybe level 5, that kind of stuff. And then you can examine TPs, but like, don't worry about that. That comes out like 10, 12 minutes, depending if one top laner is getting smashed or not, right? And also, if you are in the higher ranks, you also just want to be thinking about, do we want to be, how do we want to be trading while pushing? Do we want to be like volatile, not volatile? Both jungles pathing bot, are we playing for the crab, right? That kind of stuff. Okay, so let's get started. There's a lot of like pre-information stuff to think about, but the higher level you are, the more habits you're going to be creating on top of old habits you've already learned. Like we said, for example, in the beginning, you're learning how to play your champion. And then after that, you're learning how to play with the support. And then you're learning how to play against the enemy support, enemy ADC. And then you add the junglers into it and you add the millionaires into it. You see how it works. Right? It's all like kind of habit stacking. Okay. So the name of the game when it comes to improving a league is you work on one skill, you master that skill, and then you add another skill on top of your previously learned skill. Also, you should probably be contesting the bush level 1. If you're higher level as well, you should probably be thinking, okay, level 1 bush, let's go contest level 1 bush. Do we play sweeper? Do we walk in to contest this? If we hit the ward, can they all in? If they have double all in, can they wrap on us level 1? That kind of stuff. That's probably for like master plus, okay? Anyways, once you master one skill, you want to start mastering on the others. Okay, so clearly they fucked up because they don't know how to contest level 1 bush. They didn't even ward. So instantly got to punish. Right? So if you're at the level where people are doing this level 1 bush and you're consistently getting punished by it, that is something to work on. You want to start making habits to prevent this kind of mistake from happening if you're on the receiving end, right? And of course, for all ranks, you should be all, because nobody has anything useful to say in the all chat, okay? So I would say, right off the bat, at the lower levels, if you're like, let's say like we're starting at gold, platinum, you want to notice something interesting. You want to notice that Soraka missed Q. We're gonna play off our support's abilities, right? So if Soraka missed Q and Seraphine's using her W, we can't fight. That's why we're backing off, right? We cannot fight, right? We must wait we must be in synergy with our support. And then once, Seraphine W walks out, wears off, we can walk up, look for our trade pattern with our Q, right? You just play in tandem with his support, okay? So you see that, I see that this Seraphine has only W. We're taking this kind of crazy trade because why? Why do we want to take this trade? Well, not only does our support want us to trade, right? Because she can heal. Their support also can't do anything because she already used their W, right? Q snipe is kind of whatever. That's part of champion mastery. Probably learning that in silver gold level, and then you get level 2 here, and then you crash a wave. Okay, so right off the bat, we have played strictly to what our support can do. Right, Soraka misses Q, back the fuck up. Right, Soraka has Q up and hits it. We can start to try and play the game, and then you do what you're good at. Right, I do my trade pattern auto Q, and then we get to the trying to hit the vein when she wants minions. You should probably start learning this probably around the gold area. You're getting your minions when you want to last hit and avoid enemy support's abilities, which she has done because she took W level 1 for some reason, where she has her E here. And then when they want a minion, you can look to pressure if your matchup and map state allows. What that means is if your jungle is coming bot and their jungle is not here, and where a matchup says, okay, let's try and trade, let's try and hook them, whatever, on the minions. When they want to last hit, that's when you look for that stuff. That's when you look to attack. Okay, and usually speaking, it's when you're pushing. Okay, so this idea of look to attack when pushing, you should probably be learning this in probably like gold level, right? Pushing equal winning. Okay, as a general rule of thumb, not always, but general rule of thumb, right? And then we see that our fiddle is pathing bot. So we are like, okay, well, we can play pretty aggressive. Also, we always play for level 3, in my opinion. When you are laning, level 3 is like the first 3 melee minions after. Shit, is it the cannon wave? No, it's not the cannon wave anymore because the game changed. But for killing the first 2 melee minions of that other wave where we hit level 3, okay? You always play for level 3 instead of just letting them push in, unless it is really the most egregious lane of all time, in which case you just try and take your cheese base, right? After you crash. Anyways, kill these minions. We see the Silas, that's why we ward early, and we notice something interesting, okay? So at the higher level, you should definitely notice that your fiddle is deciding to gank mid or do the top crab, and all you have to do is not that Silas, okay? So no matter what rank you are, I would say probably at the gold level, you need to be looking at the map, or maybe not. Don't even worry about the map in gold, probably, unless you die to gank all the time. Definitely in plat emerald though, you need to be looking at the map every time you want to kill minions or push the wave. And then the more higher level up you go, I think you should be more strict in making sure nothing happens bot. Okay, at the highest levels, absolutely do not let them try anything when they have man advantage, right? Maybe when you are like challenger, you can start trying to break these rules, but like there's no reason to bait this Silas gank, right? And then go back to business as usual. They want to kill minions. Okay, so we can talk about wave management, right? They're so low that we can start pulling the wave. So what that means is if you have a big enough 2v2 advantage, you can try and deny on every minion, right? You can try and fight them on every minion. So for example, they're super low because we have been applying our lane matchup to their face. We're trying to trade with them, and we're making sure we don't get hit by their lane matchup, which is Seraphine trying to poke us and or root me into some kind of like vein condemn, right? The entire time, every time I want a minion, I gotta make sure that that doesn't happen to me from Seraphine, which she really hasn't been pressuring me at all, right? Which will happen in your games. And then if you have a big enough advantage, every time they want a minion, this is an opportunity to fight. Okay, and for us, for Soraka Senna, it's an opportunity to trade. Okay, because that's our matchup. But if you're playing like Kalista with Leona, it's an opportunity to all in, right? Because that's what Leona wants to do. That's what Kalista wants to do. Okay, so every time they want a minion, I'm gonna look to apply pressure on Vayne. See, look, I'm running at her when this melee creep is dying. I'm gonna try and trade. She doesn't want to trade it back up. And you'll notice something interesting in this lane is it's actually very important to recognize that you don't have to kill them to be winning. Like we are destroying them right now. I'm even like missing abilities. I can miss W on the Vayne straight up, and we're still destroying them. Why? Because we are strictly playing around our matchup, and we've made sure that we can't die from the map. Right? So if you have these two things in hand, you pretty much will succeed in every laning phase. In the sense that, you will never die to gank, hopefully, because, you're always tracking the enemy jungle and mid, and you will always have a decent spot in the laning phase. Now, I mean, that guy refused the base, so he died, right? Remember, I don't have to like flash in or do anything crazy, bro. Relax. Like, they can't play the game. You've already succeeded in your job. I'm getting every minion. She's not farming any minions. We've won, right? You don't have to kill them to win laning phase. I think this is really important concept that a lot of people don't understand. Laning phase is about who can impact the map more, who can impact the jungle more, and then after that, can you deny as many minions as possible and get as many minions as possible, right? And usually kills happen because someone makes a major mistake, right? Also, we should talk about base timings here. No matter what rank you are, you should probably learn this. When your opponent dies, you should just base, right? Or you should just crash and get as many minions as you can in base. Now, in this case, I can't crash the wave into tower, right? Because there's too many minions, and I'm playing Senna, and it's early game, so I can't really kill the minion wave before I go home, right? So I will go home now because the wave is pushing towards me. It's totally fine. Okay, so the idea is we want to base before they come back. Otherwise, we can't fight because we don't have mana or HP or spent our money. And am I losing minions if I base now? The answer is no, because it's pushing towards me. You have to identify which way the wave is pushing towards. You have to identify if the wave is pushing towards you or pushing away from you. You should learn this probably as soon as you can. It's so here's the general rule of thumb. If the wave meets in the middle, it's pretty random, 50-50. If the wave meets on your side, it's gonna push towards them because your minions are gonna bunch up on your side of the wave. Your next wave is gonna reinforce your way faster, so it's gonna push this direction. If the wave meets over here, right? Even wave meets over here, it's gonna push towards you. Now, currently, what our situation is, the wave meets in the middle, but they have more range creeps, so therefore it will push towards me. I can just base right now. Okay, so I base right now. Take a base immediately. That's definitely a check you should be doing. I probably, honestly, you shouldn't really worry about this too much until you get to like Plat Plus, in which case, this can ruin your laning phase if, for example, you decide to stay and or try and push for whatever godforsaken reason. So yeah, we take our instant base here. We notice where Fiddle is again. Fiddle is pathing bot again. Remember, at the higher level, you need to start tracking your jungle. So for example, Masters Plus, you need to understand that if your jungle starts topside, clears down towards bot, and then they do the crab, or they trade crabs, or they gank mid, or whatever, then they're gonna base, and they have to go do Krugs again, and path bot again, okay? That's something that they understand at the Master Plus level. That's why Fiddle is pathing bot again, right? Because he path bot the first time, right? Okay, we come back to lane. Now, the wave is trying to crash. Your job in this spot is to kill all these minions safely without dying. I see many of you guys, you just like all in on the wave and the jungle's here or some crazy shit. Bro, your job is to kill the minions, relax. So the first thing we do is manage the wave, okay? We're thinning out the wave. I want to kill all these minions before we start pressuring, because remember, if you are pushing, generally speaking, you have most chances to attack, right? You have so many minions on your side, you can easily attack. So if I try, for example, to trade while this range creep is dying, we have a high chance of getting Seraphine rooted into a Vincontemp, correct? And then that would ruin the lane, because if I die or lose sums and lose all this, we have a problem. But let's say if I take a super shitty trade, I use Flash and Bear, all of a sudden they're gonna go run and fight Fiddle with their jungle. You have a problem. They can even do Dragon. So generally speaking, when they're crushing a big wave like this into you, your job is to receive the wave safely. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to receive the wave safely. Now, we just saw Seraphine waste her abilities, which means they have no pressure, which means I can pull the wave like this. Okay, so what does this mean by pulling the wave? This is basically a freeze. If you have heard what a freeze is, if you don't know what a freeze is, it's basically trying to make the minions meet on as close to your tower as possible and hold it here. It makes it very dangerous for the enemy bot lane to try and approach, right? And or guarantees your safety. You must be asking now, why don't we always freeze? Because every time you pull the wave like this, their bot lane can move without consequence. Well, the consequence is they're going to lose minions, but if you're post 10 minutes, they will just move and just do the dragon, for example. But it's pretty early on in the game, so it's hard for them to just move and do the dragon and or gank your mid laner, right? So pulling the wave here is very good. It applies pressure to the enemy bot lane. They have to walk up. You see how they have to walk up? Like, look how far they are from their tower. They have to walk all the way over here to try and kill this minion. We can try and run them down, especially if Fiddle's behind them. So that's why you, generally speaking, want to pull the wave right outside your tower. The easiest trick is to remember that you want to pull these ranged creeps, okay? The ranged creeps are the ones you want to keep. They're the easiest to keep right outside your tower. Because, of course, the melee minions will run directly into you and die to the tower, okay? Now, remember, we're able to do this because Seraphine wasted abilities. Now, we see the Silas gank spot. We do our best to survive, okay? When we're doing this Silas gank, we are in survival mode. So the first thing I did is heal Soraka, and the second thing I did is root the Sylas. We can't actually kill anyone in 2v3, usually speaking, unless you guys are super far ahead and Leona, you're playing like double all in or something, and they're hard trolling, okay? But generally speaking, in gank, your job is to live. You need to run, okay? Enemy jungle shows up, you need to run. I would say gold, plat, emerald, diamond. You guys like keep fighting or something. I don't know what's going on, but every time I watch my students at this level, they just like see the jungler and they keep fighting. Guys, if someone unexpected shows up on your screen, you need to get the fuck out of there. Okay, you need a piece. So yeah, yeah. Also, I forgot to mention that we're playing with the autofill jungler. He's an ADC main, who's jungled like 5 times in his career this season. So if you're wondering, oh, it's just jungle diff or whatever, no, we're creating jungle diff. Your job as bot lane is, if you're a good enough ADC, you create support diff by dodging all enemy support's abilities, allowing your support to maximize his chances of doing something good, and also manage the wave so that you nullify enemy support and help your support do something good. And you create jungle diff by making sure you don't die to the enemy jungle like we did with Sylas. Twice already, by the way. Sylas ganked twice and got nothing. So you can create support and jungle diff, and then eventually that will allow you to create mid diff, because if your jungle ganks mid when their jungle ganks bot, you've created mid diff, and or if your support runs mid after winning bot, then you've also created mid diff. Okay, you're trying to impact the map as much as possible. We don't actually care too much about our 1v1 winning. Okay, my economy over Vayne in a vacuum is not really going to matter that much when everyone in this game one-shots you at the 15-minute mark, right? That's why you guys are like, I win lane and then we lose game. What do I do wrong? You need to have impact on the map. So every time you are positively impacting your teammates, you're doing super well. Okay, if you're creating support diff, mid diff, jungle diff, you're winning the game straight up. Now the reverse is true, which you guys do very often. If you die to a jungle gank, you might as well deserve to lose LP, because you've literally created jungle diff, and we all know jungle diff is broken, right? It's just that you guys say jungle diff and you don't realize that you're the ones creating jungle diff. Now, after we ganked them bot, we didn't kill them, but we were able to push and do the dragon, right? So that's what we do. We always want to help what our jungle wants to do. He wants to do the dragon. We go to dragon. You notice we're crashing a million minions into the tower and they're 1 HP. We still help our jungler. Okay, make sure that we secure this objective. All right, come bot. We immediately crash and then go home. But you can also argue that after dragon, we should immediately base. I think that's what it's probably a small mistake of mine. We should definitely just insta base. But you'll notice that our jungle is invading. Okay, so generally speaking, when your jungle wants to do stuff, you need to be on the map to help him, right? We'll start saying at like I would say at the emerald diamond level, you really need to understand this concept of playing around your jungler, right? You can't just do whatever you want. You need to know what your jungle wants and then play accordingly. Okay, that's really important. The higher level you go, the more important this is, by the way. Okay, I would say Master GM, you need to strictly play to what the hell your jungler wants to do. Otherwise, the game's unplayable. There are, some at the highest level you can try and work without your jungler, but I'm pretty sure it's usually a disaster if you try and do that. Here, we're trying to trade aggressively because our jungle is behind them, right? Every time they want a minion, I'm going to try and trade. Every time they want a minion, I might get hit on purpose, right? To get them to try and fight us, right? So here you can see I'm trying to zone them, right? Just going for my 2-hit passive, right? On Senna, I didn't walk up to hit Seraphine after root because I wanted to kill my minions. Remember, the game is about killing minions, guys. It's not about killing them. It's about killing the minions and making it so they can't kill minions. Okay, Fiddle did something. I don't know what's going on here, but they're trying to fight Fiddle. Guys, do not play without your jungle. What are they doing, right? They see Fiddle. Their job is to not fight, and then they're just fighting for fun, right? Which is making their lane condition worse, which means that I am just going to deny this the entire game. Like, every time they want a minion, I'm going to trade. What are they going to do? They can't do anything, right? Because remember, their lane matchup is Seraphine must hit a root into Vayne them, right? That's the entire plan. Or Seraphine can poke me a double Q, but I have Soraka healing. So it's legit impossible for them. And every time they miss, I'm going to punish by walk up trade, do all this stuff. They quite literally can't do anything. I don't have to kill them. I actually tried to kill them here. That was kind of a mistake. I was feeling myself, but I actually didn't have the damage. So it's kind of just a wasted ult that I could have used for top side. And now I think we're still just going to last hit, right? We're just going to relax. You're like, okay, if you want to push, you have to have a reason to push, right? What would the reason to push be? Okay, well, Sylas just showed, but our Fiddle is pathing top, right? You have to understand where your jungle is going before you want to push the wave. And then on push, what do you want to do? Right? Are we going to dive? I don't think we're going to dive, so we're just going to hit the tower. I would rather just last hit the minions, make Vayne just walk up, and then try and trade with her face, right? But let's say, for example, you didn't see Sylas, okay? So You didn't see Salis, but I mean Salis has to be top because Fiddle took all the bot camps, right? That part is very important, by the way. Their jungle can't just randomly come bot and do nothing and gank you. No, they have to be bot for a reason and then gank you, right? The jungle just gank after clearing camps, usually speaking, right? Otherwise, they're just dropping their version of waves. So realistically, the jungle can never be here. But if your jungle is pathing top, we don't know where Salis is. Salis is pathing bot. After crash, you really wouldn't have anything to do except get ganked, right? So yeah, it's just things to think about. Okay, the higher level you are, the more you need to think about your wave management and what your team is doing. All that stuff. Because look. Okay, did you notice that Vigor is dying? Right? How badly did Vigor die? Maybe, generally speaking, Akshan should be low with no ulti, but maybe your teammates are idiots and he has everything up, so he could be coming bot. You don't know shit, right? I'm pretty sure Akshan's not here, but he could theoretically, right? So just things to think about as you are pushing the wave, okay? You see, like, I'm not trying to kill them here. This Vayne literally 1 HP. It's all good, bro. Do I have to flash? And without knowing the condition of what's going on here, do I really want to flash in? Like, you know, if there's any amount of doubt, relax. Like, you never have to just, I have to kill them. No, you don't, bro. Relax, okay? Going for a Q snipe, you know, just random kill. It's all good. And then here we're going to push because they have to base or they're going to die. So we're going to push and then we're going to hit the tower. And then if they base, we're also going to base, right? We're going to match reset. And then Vayne's just dead, right? How are we creating jungle diff? By making bot lane such a favorable situation every time our jungle comes bot's winning. By the way, you see the Akshan Salis, right? We just need to leave, right? Anytime something unexpected shows up, we need to leave, okay? So unexpected dudes showed up, we need a piece. And you'll notice the bot gap is insane. It's 57 CS. And I've positively impacted my jungler. We got the dragon, we got him a kill, and we've griefed the enemy jungler. We wasted Salis' time twice, okay? And in this way, this is how you create a team diff, okay? Now our mid lane's losing and top is just doing okay. So obviously the game's not over, but laning phase is going super well. And this is how you set up for success for your mid game. Okay, this is generally speaking. Generally speaking, you want your laning phase to be consistent in terms of getting your levels and your money and making sure that you don't die. Okay, this is your baseline. Okay, making sure you don't die to the enemy jungler, making sure you don't die to mid roams, and generally speaking, getting as much XP and gold as you can. Then it becomes about denying the enemy bot lane as much XP and gold as you can, and making sure that you are unlocking your support to go help mid, that kind of stuff, right? But first, we must focus on the defensive so that we have a consistent baseline to work from, right? Because if you start out every game just trying to fight them, and then you just randomly die to like Jarvan level 2 or something, like the game is kind of ruined for no reason, right? You're not really laning, you're just trolling. Okay. All right, we go back. Laning starts again because we come back from our reset and we go back to business as usual. We see Fiddle, he's pathing top side. So we have to be relatively independent here, right? Make sure we don't get hit by Seraphine ult into some Silas gank. That would be a disaster, right? So you see I'm pulling the wave again. Okay, I'm looking at the dragon. I'm like, okay, what does Fiddle want to do? I see Silas. Okay, change of plans, right? Maybe we should start trading. You see, like I didn't want to fight at all until I saw the Silas champ topside. And how fast did I see him? I saw him instantly because all I'm looking at is the map. When you get to a higher level and enemy support isn't pressuring you on minions, then you need to stare at the map to see what's going on. Okay, now we're playing dragon. Okay, I gotta push, right? Or if I think they have the dragon without me, I can just slow push into a crash. But pretty sure that we should just, oh, okay, there's some crazy fighting going on. They're deciding to fight when my team is here. I have no idea why they did that, but they did not look at the map. Okay, clearly they did not see their size top side. Right? And then their Akshan's here. I mean, maybe they fucked. Oh, this is a huge mistake. Remember, someone unexpected shows up. We need to start running, right? I broke that rune. I tried to fight, and obviously I instantly died. It's obviously terrible. Okay, someone unexpected shows up. You need to stop fighting. Okay, you need to reevaluate the situation, and then you need to be like, do we want this or no? And clearly, Fiddle was doing the dragon, so we did not really want this. So this is actually a kind of a big mistake, but. Good thing we did so many good things beforehand that a big mistake like this was still okay because we played with our jungle on the bot side, right? We had, generally speaking, have 4 people down here. Even though 3 of us died, we got the objective and we killed 2. Okay, that's pretty good outcome, right? And it stems from the idea that we are playing with our teammates. Okay, that part is very important, right? Because as ADC, you can't really do anything by yourself in this game until you have 3, 4, 5 items, right? Okay, the laning phase is pretty much almost over, but we're going to define laning phase as, I don't know if I said this earlier, but we're going to define laning phase as basically until the first tower falls. I'm being a little silly here, like phase tanking. Vayne Condemn and Seraphine abilities and whatnot. But I mean, honestly, we're so far ahead that I guess it doesn't matter. My bad. Kill the wave. We have static. We generally speaking at the 8, 10, 12 minute mark, you want to crash every wave. You need to push every wave to generate as much pressure as possible. And be as safe as possible. Because if you try and slow push crash and your Fiddle's top, you're gonna get ganked and you're gonna die, right? At that like 12-minute mark. And then there are times where you can probably still freeze, you can probably still play slow push, but a lot of times it is like a hard push angle and not die to like enemy TP from behind or something silly. Yeah, I need to evaluate. Okay, are we safe here? I'm staring at the map here, by the way. Looking at the Seraphine Mr. E. I'm looking at the map. Is there an Akshan? Is there a Silas? Okay, so we're going to back up pretty soon. I'm holding my E, making sure that we're not going to die. I still have Flash. We're just going to... Oh, I see Akshan. We're going to keep pushing. I see no Silas, right? Silas is no camp spot side. We're relatively safe. There's Silas. We back up, right? I'm trying to kill the wave and then back up, right? You see where I'm standing? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna kill the cannon, and then we're gonna play safe, right? I'm not even going for these range creeps. If I can't go for the range creeps, I can't go for the range creeps. And you know, laning phase is basically over, right? You keep doing this until the tower's down. I actually don't know when the tower falls this game, but yeah, okay. Silas leaves, and I try and play on the wave. Akshan could be coming bot now, by the way. I don't know if you saw, but Veigar halfway rotated, realized he couldn't get anything, and then Akshan pushed. So Akshan could theoretically be here, or he could be top. You don't know, right? We're staring at the map while we're doing this. You see, where am I standing in comparison to them? I'm not standing in their face anymore, right? Because I'm like, oh, okay, there could be an Akshan and Silas. Well, I don't think Silas is here, but there could be Akshan coming bot. And then we see Akshan commit top. Okay, we commit bot. Okay, does that make sense? Right? The map is played at the higher level. Okay, if you're low elo, okay, you're gold, silver. Don't worry about this. This is not relevant to you right now. Not yet, okay? If you're Diamond Master GM, very important. This is the most important thing for you to learn, probably, right? Is that you need to understand the map. The map is played first before your screen, okay? And then once the map is played, you see that they are playing topside. Then you know we need to trade sides. So Fiddle needs to dive this, right? Fiddle needs to dive this. They're doing the Herald right now. You can't really tell where your jungle what to do, but hopefully he knows what to do, guys. We're gonna play the dive here. I hope they're doing the Herald, right? So we're gonna try and fight. Every time you have man advantage, you want to fight, right? So at man advantage, look, I'm like literally willing to tank tower shots. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get a fight done. Okay. Oh, Seraphine's trolling, right? She's fighting. Somehow their bot lane is fighting when they're not supposed to be fighting. It's kind of crazy, right? No matter how bad you fight, you will win pretty much every time, right? That's the rule of. That's why numbers is so OP. Is that you could play like absolute dog shit and still win, and that's why numbers disadvantage is so bad, because you could play super well, you could play even perfectly and be cheating and you would still lose. Okay, and that's laning phase in a nutshell. Hopefully, no matter what rank you are, you learn something from this laning phase. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can ask me in the comment section below. I generally speaking read the comments. And yeah, if you want to support this kind of educational content, you should check out my Patreon. That's how I know that you guys want more educational content, because this stuff doesn't really do well on YouTube in terms of like, you know, making money. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Also, I want to give a shout out to my patrons, Sonia C, Wise Win, Austin D, Leighton B, and Paul, and everyone else at Patreon. Over here, over there. Thank you guys for I guess paying for my food and rent. Yeah, if you want to check out the Patreon, links in the description below. But yeah, thank you for watching.